This is a bonkers movie. It's ultra violent and it's got one of the funniest lines this year, if not the funniest lines of the decade. We're talking about the Toxic Avenger.
The Toxic Avenger.
That's what the kids are calling him.
Directed by Macon Blair, who also shares a writing credit with Lloyd Kaufman and Joe Ritter, Peter Dinklage stars in this remake/reboot of the 1980s classic, The Toxic Avenger. Dinklage plays Waylon Goose, a put-upon single stepdad trying to raise his stepson while working a dead-end job as a janitor in Kevin Bacon's toxic waste plant, for, lack of a better descriptor. Meanwhile, Taylor Page plays JJ, a reporter/investigator type person trying to blow the whistle on the corporate bad guy Kevin Bacon and his toxic waste dumping shenanigans that he and his company is up to. There's also a subplot involving Kevin Bacon owing money to the mob. Dinklage's Waylon sees something he shouldn't see. He is then pushed/falls into a vat of toxic waste and becomes the Toxic Avenger. The movie opens with a fun tongue-in-cheek smash cut montage with the voiceover from Peter Dinklage. That goes some way to set the tone for the type of movie that you are about to see. Elijah Wood is also in there as Kevin Bacon's right-hand man / I think he's his brother in the movie. He's kind of a mix of the Penguin and his version of Gollum. Like, that deleted scene that made its way online where there was like a montage or I'm sure there was a behind the scenes picture of Lord of the Rings where you saw Frodo but like made up as Gollum style Frodo or Smeagol style corrupted Frodo. Anyway, his character, whose name escapes me, is like a mix between the Penguin and that. When he's on screen, it's great, but it does feel like he's underused in this movie. Kevin Bacon is the one who steals the show. It feels like he's the only one who 100% got the memo about the tone of the movie. It's not that the rest of the cast are bad, but tonally it does feel like sometimes they are acting in a different movie. The Killer Nuts, the gang of thugs who also happen to be in a band, who are apparently also managed by Elijah Wood's character, they carry out the dirty work for Bacon and Elijah Wood. They look like they have wandered off of the set of the latest Purge movie and just onto the set of The Toxic Avenger. But I mean that as a compliment. The tone of that kind of fits. Speaking of tone, for the most part, confidently, this film has its tongue in its cheek, but at times it does falter, and there are elements of the movie that feel like they are taking place in a different movie tonally. Once the first act is done and dusted, however, that kind of mismatch of tone seems to dissipate, and the movie settles into its own. It kind of settles into being comfortable in its own skin, and then the audience can just enjoy the ride. And a bonkers ride it is. It's bloody hilarious at times as well. There is more than one laugh out loud moment. There's also one of the funniest lines I have heard in a long time, and it's definitely a contender for funniest moment of the year, possibly funniest line reading of the decade. Let me know in the comments below if you know the bit I'm talking about, or if you think you know the bit I'm talking about. It's also ultra violent. The word uncut was literally in the title card, and I can see why that's there, because it is ultra violent. There is a bit in the movie where someone's intestines are ripped out of their body from the back of their body, if you get what I mean. And that's just one of the ultra violent moments. There's text on screen at times, like the location setting text that's also very tongue-in-cheek, like it says yonder spooky woods and things like that. So that very much plays into the fun tongue-in-cheek tone of the movie. Now, I don't have an affinity to the original Toxic Avenger the way that some people do. I've seen the original. I remember watching it maybe once or twice as a kid, but it wasn't like a staple of my childhood. I didn't love the Toxic Avenger. I'd seen it, I'm aware of it, but not that big a deal. So when I heard they were remaking it, I thought, oh, that's interesting. Like I didn't have strong feelings either way. I wasn't affronted or offended at the fact that they were remaking this classic, but also I wasn't like, oh my god, I can't wait to see this. I was just like, okay, that's cool, I'll see it when it comes out. And it's taken a while to get here. I believe this debuted in 2023, so 2 years ago, but it's taken that long for, the movie business to do what the movie business does and finally get on screen for people to see. Another thing I noticed was the disconnect between the physical performance of Toxie and the voice performance, because once Peter Dinklage becomes the Toxic Avenger, it's not him in the suit, it's an actress called Luisa Guerrero, I think, and while she does a great job with the physicality of the role, the reality is Peter Dinklage's lines are then dubbed in after the fact, and on more than one occasion the lip sync, the syncing of that just didn't quite connect, and when that happens it takes you out of the movie. It reminds you that it's not Peter Dinklage in the suit, that he's just doing the voice role. So that does create a bit of a disconnect between the physical role and the voice role. Looks wise, visual wise, it's quite a modern but lo-fi look to it. It doesn't look overly cheap, but it doesn't look overly slick and polished either. I think in keeping with the kind of the low budget roots of the original, I think it does a good job of translating that aesthetic to the modern age without making it look too slick, I suppose. Sound wise as well, they do a good job. The sound design, some of the gore and the squelchiness of it is really gory and squelchy. The music as well is fun at times. They use that classic piece of music, I forget the name, but you'll know the one I'm talking about. That's fun when that's employed as well. It's also worth noting that I saw this at a 9 AM press screening as part of the Edinburgh Film Festival, so not quite the time or crowd to fully embrace the bonkersness of this movie. Speaking of embracing, why don't you go ahead and embrace that subscribe button? Thanks very much. So yeah, 9 AM press screening, not quite the atmosphere that you would want for a movie like this. The movie was then shown at midnight the day after for the first public screening, I believe, in the UK, as part of the Midnight Madness series of movies for the Edinburgh Film Festival. So I imagine that crowd and that atmosphere would be a lot more friendly and conducive to enjoying the movie that little bit more. So I'm going to go with 6 out of 10 for The Toxic Avenger. It's a totally bonkers, ultra-violent at times, very much tongue-in-cheek movie, if a little unsure of itself here and there, especially in the first act. There is an end credits scene that I stupidly missed, but stick around for that, because from what I've heard, that's quite fun. And if you want to see my thoughts on other movies at the Edinburgh Film Festival, you can click here. Thanks very much, folks.